let's move on to our next tool that we can use for competitive research. And in this video, we're going to look at Semrush. I am a huge fan of Semrush, and I can't even begin to explain how reliant on it that I am. I used to use the free version and just get a little bit of data, but I purchased the monthly subscription, and I can't imagine living life without it, to be honest with you. It just has so much wonderful information. It's presented in a very easy to digest manner, and it offers really, really good reports that have saved me hours of time when I'm performing and working on a SEO project for a client. So I'm going to take you through the top areas that I really like and like to focus on, but I would like you to know that there's a lot more data here and available to you, but I'm just going to show you the things that really matter to me and that I look at when I'm doing competitive research. Okay, so the screen that is up right now that you're seeing is the domain overview. So when you come in, you're going to put in a URL and it is going to bring you back some data. Wonderful overview data, and you can see that from starting with organic search volumes to pay-per-click volumes to backlinks, just really nice overview data so you can get a quick snapshot of what's happening with the website. Then I can start to look down and view data by country, both for organic and keywords. If I want to change the data that I'm viewing, I can come up here at the top and start selecting a different country, and it offers just lots of different countries to choose from for the ranking data. This graph over here on the right-hand side shows activity over time, both for pay-per-click and organic, and then you can drill down to that even see further. Down at the bottom of my screen, and I'll scroll up a little bit, you can see top organic keywords. You can go in and view a full report, export that data, distribution of keywords for positions, main competitors. We keep seeing InMotion showing up, and even though I didn't have them as original plan, you can see that again they're showing up here. So really, this is something that I really should have added them into the original list of competitors that we wanted to view. But the nice thing about this is because I'm consistently seeing them pop up, they were not on my radar as a traditional competitor, but it is obvious that they are an online competitor that I need to take notice of. As I scroll down, I can see branded versus non-branded data. This is important because when we looked at GoDaddy had a lot of traffic coming in from search. But when you look at their actual numbers in here, a lot of that's coming from branded traffic. So it's people searching for GoDaddy by name, which in my world doesn't really count. I mean, it's great that they've got branding, but when I'm doing an SEO project and I'm looking at competitors for research for keyword seed lists and opportunities, I don't care if people are searching on GoDaddy. I care about real keywords that matter. So this is definitely important information to me. Top paid keywords, main paid competitors for search, and then I get down to some backlink data, both with the refers themselves, follow versus no follow, backlink types, and then anchor text. So the text that's used inside the link itself. Then you can see referring domains. Again, just tons and tons of data, and this is just on the very first screen that we've clicked on. So again, I can click into any of these areas and get additional information, but instead of doing that, I would like to take you through the different areas that I look at because I have some prepped up. Just one quick point to note is you do have the option of viewing information from a desktop to mobile, as well as exporting this via a PDF. So I've shown you the overview screen, which wonderful information. Now we can look at position changes over time. So this is the next data point that I would look at. The blue being new positions or new ranking or improved ranking, and the red being loss. And then you can see some little information if you click on the G that'll provide additional data for you on things that were happening at that point in time. This is just really for trends. Do you see somebody spike high, spike low? And you can see the SiteGround website was very volatile and very active in December and January. Sometimes you see a big spike of activity and then it comes back down. And then you could kind of look to see what the heck happened. And there's times where I've been able to correspond a large decrease in keywords with a large decrease in pages coming out of a website's the activity within the Google index. So like they pulled a bunch of content out and at that same time they lost a bunch of ranking. And then when they put a bunch of content back in, so did some of that ranking come back. Just shows you that potentially there were issues that people didn't realize that were happening, but they were actually there. Okay, the next screen, which is one that's really important to me, is positions and changes. So this is giving an overview of organic activity. So I can view these trends by traffic or by keywords. And I can change from 2 years to 6 months or any type of time frame that I would like. I can also see the breakout between like featured snippets and knowledge graph, and which is good data points because when I was viewing this for all of the competitors, I could see that I think it was WP Engine had a lot of knowledge graph activity. And knowledge graph is and featured snippets are those things that show up differently in the search engine results, and so they naturally just draw someone's attention to them, and they can be positioned as part of the results or at the top of the search engine results page. But it helps with click-through rates, it helps with branding. So and they are the knowledge graph is becoming more and more important with voice search. So definitely something to keep on the radar, and that's a reason why, or one of the reasons why SEMrush is showing us this data. So now I can kind of scroll down and I can see some of the most important keywords that SEMrush believes are pertaining to this domain. I can see the word, the position, and if it's changed at all, the volume, the keyword difficulty, so how hard it is to rank on that specific keyword, cost per click for it. So if you look at web hosting, that was one that we could tell through other activity that SiteGround is trying to position themselves for. They're currently at position 11, which is the bottom, or excuse me, the top of page 2 in Google. It's got a lot of traffic, but they're not going to get a lot of visibility for it because they're not on page 1, and so that you lose a lot of visibility with that. But WordPress tutorials, they're number 2 in Google, and that's got decent traffic of 9,000 searches per month. So that would be a very good keyword for them. And if you want to figure out where that lies in their website, you've got the URL right here that you can open and review more closer. Some additional information, the results, how many results in Google pertain to that actual phrase, and trends for activity. Just better information that you didn't have before. It allows you to make better decisions, and all in the effort of building a potential key list for you to be able to utilize in your SEO plan, as well as allowing yourself to structure maybe improvements with your existing content, writing new content, or abandoning content because you realize it's way more competitive than you ever thought, and you're going to have a difficult time trying to rank on it. But I just really, really love this. And if I wanted to say, okay, no, really, I just want to see this and how it relates to WordPress, I could do that. And it will actually give me an updated list and just show me all of those phrases that pertain to WordPress. As expected, the WordPress tutorial would stay at the top, but now we get to see other things like WordPress themes. They're actually ranking number 13. And they're not really a provider of themes. So, that's an interesting data point. Okay, so moving on to some other information that we have available in SEMrush. So we looked at top keywords. Now we can see top pages for a given site. And I love this for both my own site as well as looking at competitors, because you get to see not just the top URLs, but you get to see how many keywords are associated to that URL. So there's over 1,600 potential keywords that could be ranking and could be matched up to this specific URL. Such powerful information when you start getting more and more in depth into this type of data. And so I could click on it and I can get additional information just for this specific URL. And now I can see top keywords for this URL, and I could view a full report, and I can continue to go down that rabbit hole of data, which is wonderful when this is one of your the potential keywords that you really want to focus on. The thing that you have to be careful is you don't want to lose an entire day of living inside SEMrush, and you really could. I mean, you just saw that I clicked on a couple of items within here, and I went from seeing SiteGround's top pages to some phrases for that top pages to a ton of phrases, and now I can see where all that they might be ranking. What does this do for me? Well, I know that page is great for them. I know it's bringing in a ton of traffic, and I know that I could potentially look at some of these keywords to see if there's any of these phrases that I might want to target myself and go after. And maybe I am targeting some of them and I'm not doing as good a job as them. So my next step might be over to go to that page and see how that page is set up, the kind of content they have. I can look at inbound links and things like that to really get a good idea of the activity for that. So just wonderful, wonderful data. Like I said, I really encourage you to use SEMrush. Okay, so the next screen that we can look at starts to talk about backlinks. So backlinks are those links coming into your website from third parties. So they could be websites, they could be blogs, they could be directory sites. This just gives you like a nice overview of total backlinks, referring domains. So this is the total number of links coming in versus the number of websites that are coming in with it. Then we get to see the domain score and a trust score for those as well, which provides additional information on, on how healthy this URL is. And if you ever have any questions as you're in here looking at SEMrush, you can just hover on that little eye, and it gives you wonderful information about that data point. Okay, now we can see below here how links may have come and gone over time, which is wonderful. You can see the 3 months, you can see a year, or you can go to all time. Next, what's the breakout of those links? Is it text versus an image versus a form or a frame? What about follow versus no follow? A lot of times follow are natural links, no follows might be ads or affiliate links. What's the distribution between the different types of extensions, .gov versus .edu, versus .org, etc. And then we look at the countries so you can see what countries are most linking in. And then down here we can see some anchor text. So this is important if both for understanding how they might be ranking on certain areas and if there's any potential future complications with their ranking. Google's definitely changed how they view these anchor texts coming in with the backlinks, and they're getting more and more protective of them. We noticed that Joomla templates early on in our research of SiteGround, they were ranking well for that. It was one of their top keywords. Well, we can see that they've got a lot of inbound links coming with that phrase, which can help contribute to that ranking. Same thing for web hosting. They have been targeting that with keywords with their homepage, and now we see that they're using that phrase for inbound links. Then you can see some other ones over here with WordPress hosting, etc. But great information, and then you can continue to drill down and look at things even more granular and see additional details on those backlinks to see actually the links themselves. Now this is really going down the rabbit hole because now you're starting to get just oodles and oodles of data. But if you are working on your site and you need to really increase your backlinks, these might be good sources of places you could try to position activity for your own site. Okay, so another screen that I love is this traffic analysis. I love this one. I've collected data and put it on the template that I have available. The reason I love it so much is it provides wonderful data that you can't get really anywhere else. So, for example, I get to see what SEMrush believes to be their total visits, how many unique visitors are coming. So this is the total times people came, but how many individual people are actually coming? How many pages do they view per visit? What's the average time? What's the bounce rate? Bounce rate, you want a lower bounce rate, not a higher bounce rate. And then you can start seeing this change, over time. So maybe we just want to look at the bounce rate. Maybe we want to look at all of them. Here's some things where this would take into account, and especially if this is your website, you're looking at the bounce rate. So maybe all of a sudden your bounce rate completely shifted. Either it went really down or it went really high. Was it attributed to a design change that you did? Did you change hosting companies? Did performance go down? Have you had other issues? That these are signals that you should research something, that the activity of your website, and really kind of drill into what could be the problem causing it. Or if it's an increase, kudos to your design team for making sure that your website just became much more usable and people are staying on that site. Some additional information, traffic sources. I love to see this because I want to see what the breakout is. Where are people getting their traffic from? What is the breakout with search versus referral? Referral could be other websites or blogs, versus social media like Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or direct. They're actually typing in the URL and just coming right in. I want to see this. We'd like to see a natural distribution of this, so that it's not all dominated in one area versus the other. But the important thing here is you're going to see some variances with competitors, and somebody might have really strong referrals coming in, lots and lots of traffic, or very strong social media. And if that's the case, you want to see what the heck they're doing to see if you can kind of model after that and increase your own activity. As we move over, this is giving us additional details on those areas. So we have referring sites. Here's the websites that are sending traffic over. Then we have the social media sites that are sending traffic over, and then we have the search engines that are sending traffic over. DuckDuckGo is one that is gaining popularity. Bing still hanging in there, good old Microsoft. Yahoo doesn't actually have their own index, and they get their traffic from Bing. And then we have Yandex and a bunch of other overseas from the U.S. Search engines. I love to look at the social media areas because you might find a surprising data point here. So, and what I noticed when I was looking at the hosting companies is that they all had kind of preferred social media profiles. So like GoDaddy got a lot of traffic from Facebook, and HostGator was getting traffic from Facebook and from Twitter. Out of the vendors that I looked at, the hosting companies, they had the most activity with HostGator. Bluehost was using Pinterest and Reddit. Nobody was really using LinkedIn. Nobody was getting really any great activity and love from LinkedIn. And SiteGround, for theirs, they were using YouTube, and you see 22%, which was significantly higher from any other vendor. All the other vendors were like 2%. HostGator had 11%, but still it was far behind, and you could just kind of see where they're spending their time and their efforts by looking at some of these numbers. Is it absolute? No, but it gives you an idea of where you could get some additional details and kind of drill yourself further in to find additional data points. Okay, so one final screen that I love is this SEO keyword magic. And you can come in here, and I use the phrase WordPress hosting. And so now this is just going to give me data points on alternate phrases around that. And so I can start seeing the main one that I put in, but then all of these alternates and search volumes, the keyword difficulty, so how hard it is to rank. And then I can actually look at data capture of the search engine results pages for this, or drill down further. Just really good information. If there's abilities to drill down, so I can even look more specific. Word count. So I could say, just show me words that are between 3 and 6 phrases, so I could actually try to go for more long tail. Or specific volume numbers. Maybe I don't want to go after, maybe I'm writing a blog post, I don't want to go after something that's high volume. I want to look at something that's only 500 or less searches per month. But this tool gives me that ability to do, and it's a really good research tool. So to recap some of my favorite areas within SiteGround, and where I really think it's important for you to pay attention to the data for competitive research, this main overview page right here, which gives you lots of wonderful information. This is your first stop. You should be collecting all of this data for all of your competitors. The next guy is some position changes, so you can see if there's been any major trends or changes over time for you and your competitors. The next one would be the positions and the changes that they've had on an individual keyword level. Remember, you see the top collective, but then you can see the individual phrases below, and you can segment those out how you'd like. Moving on, we've got the top phrases with the top URLs. We've got backlinks. And then we can look at the individual keywords themselves and just kind of see who's ranking and things like that. So much wonderful information. And if you're going to buy a premium tool for SEO, even if it's only for a month, this is the one I would absolutely recommend because it provides a very broad set of data, and it allows you to pull in data like the other tools did, but it gives you all of them in one wonderful tool that allows you to export data. And if you've, like, for just quick example, if you've ever gone to Google Search Console and you see that you get to see top pages and top keywords, it is very painful to try to blend those together and really match those up. And it can take hours and hours, if not days, to do that if you have a large site. This tool does that for you, and it saves you all of that time because it's collecting it for your website, and you can just drop it into Excel and you have it all readily available for you. And for me, that's just truly worth my time, worth my money, because it saves me a significant amount of time. It saves me a lot of mistakes that I could make with the data, and it gives me a lot of education and a lot of insight into my competitors or my clients that I can use to improve my SEO or their SEO. So definitely worth it. I hope that you take an opportunity to kind of dig through Semrush, pull up your competitors, and see what kind of information you can discover and how you can utilize that for your SEO efforts.